aged when he was in office. He was fine. You're right. He didn't look like he aged. He always looks the same.
Methodically purging the Republican Party of anyone who voted for his impeachment or doesn't agree that he's the rightful leader of the Seven Kingdoms.
Crazy is like, it's important that the crowd at my inauguration was the biggest ever.
You can hate Trump. You can't hate all the people who like him. It's half the country.
Yeah.
And I am certainly not blind to Donald Trump's faults.
Picture this. It's a quiet evening at Mar-a-Lago. Trump's sitting on his golden throne, scrolling through his phone, when suddenly his face turns as red as his tie. What could possibly ruffle the feathers of the unflappable Donald? 2 words, Bill Maher. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit studio, Maher's sharpening his wit, ready to take on the MAGA machine. Little does he know, he's about to ignite a firestorm that'll have Joe Rogan spinning faster than his podcast intro. It's David versus.
But he's a criminal, and he's crazy, and he's stupid, and crazy and stupid are 2 different things.
Goliath, folks, but this time David's got a mean left hook and a killer punchline. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Well, folks, it looks like Bill Maher's been sharpening his comedic claws again, and this time he's sinking them deep into Joe Rogan. What's got our favorite grumpy comedian all riled up? Turns out the podcast king's been cozying up to the MAGA crowd, and Maher's not having any of it.
Crazy, what do you base
Okay,
that
let
on?
me give you an example. Stupid is like Frederick Douglass is alive.
On his latest show, Maher didn't just dip his toe into the controversy pool, he did a full cannonball. He took aim at Rogan's recent love affair with MAGA talking points, and boy, did he come armed and ready. Maher wasn't just throwing punches in the dark, he brought a whole spotlight to shine on Rogan's craziest claims. Now, we all know Joe Rogan's got a tendency to go off the deep end sometimes, but lately, he's been diving into the MAGA pool like it's a refreshing oasis in the desert of sanity. Maher, being the political bullshitty detector he is, couldn't let this slide. He started pulling out receipts faster than a shopaholic at a Black Friday sale. Maher went through Rogan's greatest hits of conspiracy theories, fact-checking them on air like a teacher grading papers, with a big red marker and a lot of size. It was like watching a master chef filleting a fish, except the fish was Rogan's arguments, and Maher was using logic instead of a knife. But here's where it gets juicy, folks. Maher didn't just criticize Rogan's ideas, he went for the jugular. He called Rogan a useful idiot for MAGA. Ouch, that's gotta sting more than one of those weird health supplements Rogan's always pushing.
Apparently it's okay, it's not illegal to lie to the American people, and of course he did lie, and continues to lie.
Maher basically accused Rogan of being a megaphone for misinformation, spreading it to millions of listeners faster than a sneeze in a crowded elevator. And you know who was watching all this go down? Our favorite orange-tinted, hamburger-loving ex-president, Donald Trump. Imagine him sitting there in Mar-a-Lago, probably on his golden toilet, his face turning redder than a tomato as he watches Maher tear into his new favorite podcast host. You can almost hear the angry tweets being composed in his head.
Yes, he tried every possible way to steal this election. He tried to do it through the courts. He tried to do it through state legislatures.
But hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because Maher wasn't done. He kept going at Rogan like a dog with a particularly juicy bone. He questioned why Rogan, who used to pride himself on being a free thinker, was suddenly parroting MAGA talking points like a well-trained parrot. It was like watching a comedy roast, except the person being roasted wasn't in on the joke.
When he was in office, he was fine. You're right. He didn't look like he aged. He always looks the same.
So folks, we've seen Bill Maher go at Joe Rogan like a chihuahua with a grudge. But what's the deal with Rogan anyway? How did our favorite DMT-loving, elk-eating podcaster suddenly start sounding like he's auditioning for a spot on Fox News? It's like he woke up one day and decided to trade his sensible shoes for a pair of MAGA red clown shoes. Remember when Rogan was just the guy who talked about aliens and convinced celebrities to eat bugs on TV? Those those were simpler times. Now, he's pushing theories that would make even Alex Jones say, "Whoa there, buddy, let's dial it back a notch." We're talking election fraud, COVID conspiracies, and some weird stuff about Biden's brain that sounds like it came straight from a late-night infomercial for brain pills.
Yeah, they're thin and active and...
Well,
yeah,
Biden's thin.
that's true.
Trump is not.
But he's thin like skeletal thin.
Yeah.
Like he's thin like frail.
But here's the kicker. Rogan claims he's not political at all. Yeah, and I'm secretly the Queen of England. It's like saying you're not into food while scarfing down a triple cheeseburger.
We're living in a world where perfect is not on the menu. These are the choices we're going to have. This is going to be who's running next time.
Rogan's massive audience is eating up his MAGA makeover faster than Trump downs a bucket of KFC. Meanwhile, critics are sounding the alarm louder than a fire truck at a fireworks factory. So what happened? Did Trump secretly replace Rogan's protein shakes with MAGA Kool-Aid? Or is our bald-headed hero really a political double agent, secretly infiltrating the MAGA world to expose their craziest beliefs? Spoiler alert, probably not. The truth is, Rogan might just be a confused dude trying to get attention.
Crazy is like, it's important that the crowd at my inauguration was the biggest ever.
I mean, when you've interviewed everyone from Elon Musk to that guy who claims lizard people run the world, where else can you go but Trump Town? But here's where it gets interesting. By repeating MAGA talking points to his millions of listeners, Rogan's giving them mainstream credibility. It's like he's become a human megaphone for conspiracy theories, broadcasting them to more people than a Super Bowl commercial. And let's face it, Rogan's got more influence than a Kardashian with a new lip kit. The big question is Rogan just asking questions, or is he knowingly spreading MAGA propaganda? It's like trying to figure out if your dog is really sorry for eating your homework, or just sorry he got caught. Either way, the result's the same. A mess that somebody's gotta clean up. So, folks, it looks like Bill Maher's thrown his hat in the ring against the MAGA machine, and he's not pulling any punches.
You can hate Trump. You can't hate all the people who like him. It's half the country.
Yeah.
And I am certainly not blind to Donald Trump's faults.
Our grumpy comedian's taking on Joe Rogan and his newfound love for Trump talk, and it's like watching David take on Goliath, if David had a potty mouth and a killer sense of humor. But here's the real kicker. Trump's probably watching this whole mess go down from his golden throne at Mar-a-Lago, getting redder by the minute. You can almost hear him furiously typing up his next angry tweet storm.
Methodically purging the Republican Party of anyone who voted for his impeachment or doesn't agree that he's the rightful leader of the Seven Kingdoms.
Meanwhile, Rogan's left, scratching his bald head, wondering if he should stick to talking about DMT and elk meat.
And crazy. And he's a criminal. You know, he's not being charged in these trials because he's a liar. They purposely didn't do that.
One thing's for sure, though, this political circus isn't going anywhere anytime soon, so grab your popcorn and get ready for more laughs, because next up, we've got Trump goes mad after Michelle Obama delivers knockout blow to Trump in must-see SmackDown. It's gonna be a wild ride, folks.